Okay, that being said, I'm going to be a React Andy now. Okay, so Brandon Oroboro told me about this. Here's the tweet. No, not that one. This one. That was just I had to watch this. So this is IGN's PvP build guide. I'm very excited. Oh, he timed the waterfowl dance with the song. That was so cool. Dude, this guy's looking like my level 250 fashion. Fuck yeah, brother.
PvP in Elden Ring can be great fun, but also quite challenging. The competition have been honing their skills against demigods and dragons alike since release. We're going to show you the ins and outs of making a PvP
controller
build,
down,
as well as an example build using those principles. Here's how to best prepare yourself against the hardest of Elden Ring bosses, other players. Elden Ring is super flexible, so there are a ton of viable build options for any given situation. We're going to point out some of the better pieces of equipment and then create an example from those. But don't be afraid to experiment once you've mastered the basics. If you're curious about where to get a particular weapon
I haven't cringed yet.
Equipment, check out our written guide on IGN. When choosing pieces of armor for your character, the defensive stats are most important. Poise helps reduce stagger when you're attacked, which can be crucial for squeaking out one last strike or managing a quick escape. Damage negation is equally important, allowing you to potentially take an additional hit or two. To this end, we recommend the Bull Goat set, or a similar alternative, like the lighter weight veteran set.
Hell yeah, brother. Good shit.
The Omen set, if you're into that kind of thing. These armors have high poise, along with equally high defensive stats. You need to keep your equip load to at least medium in order to dodge quickly. So if you don't have enough endurance to don one of these heavy sets, choose an alternative that'll keep you at medium load. Heavyweight dodge rolls are easy to exploit, and reduces your amount of invincibility frames. If fashion is
not
your
true,
passion,
actually.
rest assured that there
Little
are
known
plenty of
fact, that is not
alternatives.
true.
We're gonna
Fat
show you
rolling does not reduce your iframes. It reduces your recovery. It has the same amount of iframes as a medium and light roll.
The ins and outs of making a PvP build, as well as an example build using those principles. Here's how to best prepare yourself against the hardest of Elden Ring bosses, other players.
That was a well actually moment. Sorry. Wait, shit, why did it go back here? Hello?
When choosing once you've mastered the basics.
Oh, that was the
If you're
bloodhound stuff
curious
you guys were talking about.
whether
Okay,
to
okay.
Weapon or escape. Damage negation is equally important,
Sorry.
allowing you to potentially take an additional hit or two.
Why did I go back? I don't know. I don't know why it
We
rewinded.
recommend the Bull Goat set, or a similar alternative, like the lighter weight veteran set, or the Omen set if you're in.
But this is the longest con of shame from
These
in
armors
patches.
have high poise,
Like they watch
along with
IGN,
equally
dude.
high defensive stats.
They don't care
You
at
need
all.
to keep your equip load to at least medium in order to dodge quickly. So if
Okay.
you don't have enough
Back to where
endurance
we
to
were.
don one of these heavy sets, choose an alternative that'll keep you at medium load. Heavyweight dodge rolls are easy to exploit and reduces
Get
your
him,
amount
Kyle.
of invincibility frames.
Did I
If
press the number button?
fashion
No.
is your passion, rest assured that there are plenty of alternative ways to mix and match other pieces into one of these recommended sets. There are a few armor pieces and sets that'll give you an increase to certain stats, or a passive buff like the Silver Tier Mask or the Spellblade set.
Oh, mostly accurate so
There are
far.
a ton of viable weapon choices for PvP, so try out different weapons to see what suits your style. Your weapon choice will dictate how you allocate your stats. The most important differences between weapons are the pace of attacks, attack range, and weapon skills. You're looking for attacks that are hard to dodge, force the opponent to defend in predictable ways, or have powerful follow-up attacks. Rivers of Blood, for example, has excellent range and bleed buildup, making it very difficult to dodge and ideal for chipping away at your enemy. Some of the later game weapons, such as Dragon King's Cragblade, Sacred Relic Sword, and Hand of Millennia, offer weapon skills that also have these qualities. There are some powerful choices that are accessible relatively early on as well, such as the Bloodhound's Fang, Moonveil, or Eleonora's Poleblade. If you prefer using
one of
weapons
those
with
things is not like
customizable
the other
skill,
two.
try using the Ashes of War Hoarfrost Stomp, Hoaraloo's Earthshaker, and
Hoarfrost Stomp.
If you're planning on building a caster,
When was
or
this
have
made?
trouble recovering
Yesterday. All right.
after close calls, there is a specific Ash of War that needs an honorable mention. Bloodhound Step, which can be used in quick succession to quickly teleport away from a fight.
Let's go!
Or rush in if you need to quickly close a gap. If dodging isn't your thing, there are two other options you can add to your build to avoid damage. The first is the parry skill. It can be hard to do, mostly because you have to time your opponent's attacks perfectly. But if executed correctly,
Wait, I'm using the
it'll
bleed.
set
Wait,
you up for a
was
powerful
he?
critical hit.
Hold
The
on.
parry Ash of War recovering after close calls. There is a specific Ash of War that needs an honorable mention.
Where? What do you
Bloodhound
mean?
Step, which can be used in quick succession to quickly teleport away from a fight.
Oh, he is!
Or
He's
rush
got Blood Flame Blade and Fire's Deadly Sin on. He's literally doing the exploit.
if you need
Oh,
to
what a
quickly
good
close the
guide.
gap. If dodging isn't your thing, there are 2 other options you can add to your build to avoid
With
damage.
Bloodhound Step 2,
The
holy
first
shit.
is the parry skill.
What a
It
god.
can be hard to do, mostly because you have to time your opponent's attacks perfectly. But if executed correctly, it'll set you up for a powerful critical hit. The parry Ash of War can be equipped to specific weapons and shields. Speaking of shields, blocking is the other alternative. The most important stats on a shield are its damage negation percentages and its guard boost. Ideally, your shield will have 100% physical damage negation and the highest guard boost possible.
Okay, that's
This
useful.
way you can reliably block physical attacks while spending as little stamina as you can, although other types of damage still bleed through. To this end, we recommend the fingerprint stone
Shield.
It
Yeah!
can outright counter some people's narrow physical builds
So far,
if the shield is maxed out and you're
so
using
far he has recommended literally every the most worst things to go against in the game. Rivers of Blood, Bloodhound Step, and Fingerprint Shield, and also exploiting. It's
Great
good so
shield
far.
talisman.
Very
Once
good so
you've
far.
chosen your armaments, level them up as high as possible to increase their base damage
Mm.
and their skills damage.
That is some 5-head
The
advice right
additional
there.
Power is crucial.
Did you know if you
Staffs
upgrade
and
your weapon, it
seals
does
are
more damage?
technically armaments, but they can only affect sorceries and incantations. Speaking of which, although you could use both, the number of stat points needed to efficiently use sorceries and incantation is drastic.
True.
So in most cases, it's better to choose
That's
one
accurate.
of these 2 spellcasting options to support your build. Incantations are generally the stronger choice. They have better buffs, along with a diverse set of viable spell options.
Okay, I think we can
Flame
debate that
Bearing
one.
Strength.
That's not a he's inherently wrong thing. I think in terms of like just 1v1s and duels, sorceries are without a doubt better. Like hands down, it's not even close. But for general play, I think incantations sort of even it out. It depends what we're talking about. In the video, he's been showing basically all 1v1s and stuff, so I think sorceries are without a doubt better. But for just general play and things like buffs for PvE and stuff like that, incantations I think are probably equal. So that's not like he's wrong. I think that's just a matter of opinion.
Then Golden Val's attack buffs stack with each other, for example. Another great combo for incantation users is Fire's Deadly Sin and Blood Flame Blade.
Oh, he's
The
oh
fire
he's
damage
straight
aura
up
from Fire's
promoting
Deadly
it.
Sin will start to
It's
apply
not
the
even just
bleed
B-roll in a video. He's actually just promoting the fucking exploit. Oh, that's based. Absolutely based.
from Blood Flame Blade, making it easy to punish Tarnish who like to run. Don't count sorceries out entirely,
Making it
though.
easy to punish
Some of the
Tarnish who
offensive
like to, you know, be near you and play the game.
spells are nearly impossible to dodge and hit really hard. It's a little FP intensive, but Stars of Ruin almost guarantees at least some damage while setting you up for follow-up attacks.
And if you have
When
Bloodhound
choosing a
Step, you
staff
can be
or
in
seal
safe
to cast your
range.
spells from, keep in mind what attributes scale their power, and their additional passive effects found in their descriptions. For instance, the Frenzied Flame Seal scales with dexterity, strength, faith, and intelligence, allowing for your incantations to be powered up from all of these stats.
It's also like
In
the worst seal in
addition,
the game.
This specific seal boosts
For some
Frenzied Flame
reason.
incantations by
I don't know why
20%,
it's so bad.
making spells like Frenzied Burst incredibly strong. Pay attention to your staff's attribute scaling as well. The Meteorite staff starts with an S scaling in intelligence, along with a 30% boost to the power of your gravity spells. Lusat's Glintstone staff doesn't have as much scaling power, but it does increase the potency of all your sorceries by 10% at the cost of more expensive spells.
What?
Also,
That's
there are a lot of intelligence weapons spells.
that's like the most giga wrong
Also,
thing
there are a lot
ever.
of intelligence weapons that, when combined with sorceries,
Wait.
Lusat's Glintstone staff doesn't have as much scaling power.
It has the most scaling power by a wide margin, and in fact, that's the only thing it does have.
But it does increase the potency of all your sorceries by 10%.
It does not. All it is just a high scaling staff. He said the most wrong thing he could possibly say.
At the cost of more
To
expensive
be fair, I'm pretty sure that's what the Fexture Life Wikipedia says, so he probably just got it from that.
spells. Also, there are a lot of intelligence weapons that, when combined with sorceries, can be devastating, such as Moonveil and the Dark Moon Greatsword. One last thing to note, a lot of sorceries and incantations can be charged by holding down the casting button. Charged spells do more damage, and can increase their range at the cost of an increased spellcasting time. Use this to throw off an opponent's dodge timing, or cut your cast short for a quicker recovery.
Okay.
Just like with your
Sure.
weapon choice, there are a lot of good options to pick for talismans. Here are just some of our favorites. If you're building a caster, the Radagon's icon increases your casting speed
Good.
as if you had 30 more points in dexterity. If you find yourself focused on your weapon skill,
Accurate information. Well.
the Shard of Alexander boosts its damage by 15%. The
It sure
plus
does.
5 to Vigor, Endurance, Strength, and Dexterity from Radagon's Sword Seal more than makes up for the 15% increase in coming damage. Especially if you
No, it
prioritize
doesn't.
more than makes up for the 15% Radagon Sword Seal, more than makes up for the 15% increase in coming damage. And
It
dexterity
factually does not. Basic math shows you it does not.
Radagon Sword Seal, more
Yeah, if you're lower level, absolutely.
More
But this
than
dude's
make-
level 209. In this example, this is absolutely decreasing his effective hit points by a significant amount. Yeah, level like 50, 60, it's great. But that is just completely
endurance,
incorrect.
strength, and dexterity from Radagon Sword Seal more than makes up for the 15% increase in coming damage.
Yeah, I guess it does.
Especially if you prioritize HP with other great talismans like the Erd Tree's Favor +2 or the Crimson Amber Medallion. The Bull Goat's talisman increases poise by a staggering 33%. The Great Jar's arsenal provides a 19%
Actually,
increase
it reduces incoming poise damage by 25%.
to the max equip load, allowing you to use heavier armor and weapons. Finally, the Dragon
Gives a
Crest
shit.
Great Shield talisman decreases all the physical damage taken by 17%. You
Oh, he doesn't know it doesn't work in PvP. That's so sad. So if you guys don't know, these were just directly copied from the Ring of Steel protection from Dark Souls 3. That's why every time someone says, actually, this game is Elden Ring, it's not Dark Souls 3. No, it's the exact same game. They just completely copy pasted the entire game and changed the names of things. This is just the Ring of Steel protection that's been nerfed in PvP since Dark Souls 3. So, yeah, it does like what? I think the +2, the Great Shield one is 5%, or 6% or something. It's barely anything.
won't be able to choose all of these, but try to find the ones that suit your style the best. There are a few things to keep in mind when choosing your stats for PvP. Mind is important in relation to how much you rely on your skills or spells to do your damage.
True.
Take note of how many times you can use Bloodhound's Finesse or Stars of Ruin, and then choose your amount of mind to accommodate a certain amount of uses. Vigor reigns supreme and should be your top priority.
You know what?
Being able to take an
The
additional
guy recommends 60 vigor.
Rivers of Blood Slap could
Well
be
done,
the edge
IGN.
you need for a win.
That's good.
Ideally, your endurance will be the exact amount needed for you to carry all of your gear and stay within a medium weight load. Using talismans to increase your weight capacity won't come with the increased stamina that endurance does. Strength and dexterity should both be proportionally invested in relation to what stats your weapons scale with.
True.
But each comes with its own unique benefit. Dexterity decreases your casting time, so hybrid build casters may want to pair their spells with a dex weapon.
Also
When
true.
you two-hand a weapon, your strength score increases by 50%, also increasing that weapon's damage. Intelligence and faith, like strength and dexterity, is most often a binary choice. Depending on what kind of casting you choose, along with how much you'll depend on casting, will dictate how many points to allocate towards these stats. Note that even buff spells are empowered by a higher related casting stat. The only PvP related benefit Arcane
what did he just say?
provides is with related casting stat. The only PvP
He said buffs are related to casting stats. If we want to split hairs, technically not incorrect for the 4 spells that he's talking about, like Electrify Armament and Scholar's Armament and things like that. There are like 95% of them are not, but that's true. Some of them are.
related
So, not-
benefit Arcane
technically not
provides
wrong.
is with weapons that specifically scale off Arcane. The additional blood, madness, poison, or sleep damage scales off the amount of Arcane you have, but only with weapons that also scale off Arcane.
True.
When considering your Flask of Wondrous physick options, know that PvP fights won't always last that long, and you won't always have it available in every fight. Use it for a quick boost to your power by choosing one of the Crystal Knot tiers to increase the stat by 5, along with one of the Shrouded Crack tiers for a more specific type
10.
of damage. Stamina is needed for every weapon swing, so the 15 stamina per second recovery from the Green Burst Crystal tier
Sleep
is
does
nice
not
to
scale.
have.
It's just Frostbite
Rather
and
go
Bleed.
into the fight with some additional defenses,
And Madness.
the Opaline Bubble tier can absorb most of the damage from your opponent's next attack. The Crimson Bubble tier heals
I
you
really
for
recommend you guys don't use the bubble because people just throw fan knives at it and they get
30%
immediately
of your
broken.
maximum HP once you drop below 20%. If you have a lot of HP, using both the Crimson Crystal tiers to heal all of it in one potion is also useful. Now that we've laid out the
Do that in a
principles
duel.
for crafting an efficient PvP build, let's put one together. In this build, we're taking advantage of the bleed build-up mechanic as a faith caster.
A bleed
using
build, poggers. I'm into it.
these
Let's go.
weapons. The curved greatsword Bloodhound's Fang has Blood Blast build-up, but
Aw.
can be improved with
That's
a
not
Blood
meta.
Fang incantation.
How am I supposed to make
which
fun of this? It's
also
not meta
adds
at
fire
all.
Damage. The fire damage is buffed with the Flame Grant Me Strength incantation, which also increases physical damage. This physical damage buff stacks exponentially with Golden Vow, which applies a damage and defensive buff simultaneously. This defense is backed up by our equipment. with the damage negation and poise of the Bull Goat set complemented by the Bull Goat's
Hell
Talisman.
yeah.
This combination brings us to 133 poise, the maximum without consumable items like Balachin's Blessing.
That's true.
Radagon's Source Heal's benefits are too good to pass up, so our wondrous Flask is mixed with the Crimson and Opaline Bubble Tiers, giving us defensive buffs that help mitigate its negative effect. Erdtree's favor +2.
I want to say, all right. So he has 34 strength and 65 dexterity. And he's using the Source Seal with 60 vigor at 209. So the Source Seal is giving him what? God, what is the break point? It's like 26 HP per. So he's gaining like 125 health or something like that, and then losing 50% damage negation. And then he's gaining probably 15 AR in his weapon. Yeah.
Also helps
That's not
mitigate
worth it.
Radagon's Source Seal's deficits by providing more HP, and comes with additional stamina and equipped load. That, combined with Great Jar's arsenal, makes our tanky build comfortably sit at a medium load. The Frenzied Flame
The sad thing
Seal
is,
shows-
this build is so much less tanky than someone wearing 10 times worse armor without the Source Seal.
chosen for its dexterity scaling, along with the added buff to our range incantation, Frenzied Burst. For stats, Vigor and Dexterity are the
This
priority.
doesn't seem that bad for
followed by
IGN.
a
No,
high
I'm pleasantly
faith and
surprised. I thought it
to
was going to be
support the
worse.
many buff and offensive spells in the build.
A lot of information is
Intelligence,
correct.
Arcane, and Endurance stats are resting at the amounts needed for the
A
necessary
lot of it's not correct, but
requirements of our
still, for
spells and
IGN, that's pretty
equipped
good.
Our armaments have a little bit of strength scaling, so we invested a few points in it as well. As for our other incantations, Swarm of Flies combines well with the hemorrhage effects of our Bloodhound's Fang.
It's true,
It
it's
also
good.
adds a powerful slow-moving ability to our arsenal to keep the opponents guessing. Fire's Deadly Sin removes the Flame Grant Me Strength buff, but because it applies blood loss due to Blood Flame Blade, it's a great option for
You know what?
chasing down maidens,
I don't think this
Tarnished,
dude
and
is promoting an
Spammed
exploit. I think he literally just doesn't know better. I think he genuinely does not know that it's a bug. I'm going to err on the side of he's just a poor, sweet summer child that doesn't know any better.
dodges. Honed Bolt is another great answer to interrupting dodge spamming, and happens to be great at punishing players who try to heal. Ekzaiki's Decay could be replaced with any other named dragon breath options, and is mainly used to switch up strategies in case of a stalemate. Barrier of Gold helps counter magic builds by
True.
increasing magic resistance by 60%. All that leaves is the Sacred Relic Sword. This weapon is perfect for our Dex and Faith build, scaling from both of them. Its Wave of Gold skill is devastatingly powerful, has a knockback effect, huge range, and makes for a great opening attack. Regardless of what build you choose to make, determining the pace of combat is crucial. Using slow-moving abilities like the Swarm of Flies incantation or the Wave of Gold skill are great ways to force your opponent to react in ways that you can predict. Follow up with
I have
faster
1,000 max
options like
health.
Dash Attack or Bloodhound's Finesse to take advantage of the predictable dodges that come after. You could also move forward with these slow-moving abilities to close the gap if your strength lies in a melee strategy, like this one. You'll want to apply buffs right before the fight, but they don't last forever. Look for opportunities to reapply them mid-fight when they run out. Once you've practiced for a while, consider rearranging your spells to make switching them easier to do while in combat. Your build
That's a
has
good
to be
idea.
able to answer for the array of other builds. The best PvP players will have options against the many strategies you'll potentially face. With these tips, we hope you'll be farming fellow Tarnished for runes and rune arcs in no time. Let us know about any combinations you found success with in PvP, or where your favorite place to fight
I love
is.
that mastery
For
effect
more
into
on
Eternal
Elden Ring,
Darkness.
Be sure to check out our sorcery build guide for a more spell-focused character, or our guide on how to unlock the secret endgame area of Nicola's Halig Tree.
Wait, did they have a sorcery guide? Does anyone know where their sorcery guide is? I kind of want to watch that too. You know what? That was not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was basically a pretty clueless guy that was talking about exploits and shit. But he just didn't know it was an exploit. Like, they're not being malicious or anything. And a lot of the stats he gave were actually correct, and some of it was genuinely good advice. As far as IGN goes, that was not bad at all. You guys oversold that to me. That was not too bad. It was right there on the end screen.